In this video, we're going to be upgrading our 5th gen Ram HD, that's your 2500 or 3500 steering wheel, to the premium steering wheel with volume buttons on the back, as well as a heated steering wheel. So I'm going to show you guys the process, what we need to do, how we need to do it, and getting it all on there. So first and foremost, disconnect your battery, and then you're going to need to take your steering wheel, the airbag, the whole assembly needs to come off. Obviously you got to take the steering wheel off, but there is a different clock spring that has to go on that's going to support the heated steering wheel functions. So we're going to end up swapping that out. Just double check your part numbers. You can see here the part number of mine. This was the base model steering wheel. It ends with the last three numbers 566 Apple Apple, and I'll show you guys the part number of the one that I am installing. It came from a limited truck, so this truck was originally a tradesman, the one that you're looking at right here. And then we've documented the whole process on this channel: limited door panels, limited cluster, limited seats, limited center console, limited headliner. We basically are turning this into a limited. We haven't done the stereo yet, but there's also going to be a video on that, and the dash. So we've got the dash, all sorts of stuff. So we're going to be upgrading that in this video, but I'll link above for you guys taking the airbag off. There's a specific process on that. You got to press with a couple tangs on the side, and it's a bit of a bugger. So I go into deep depth on explaining how the airbag comes off, and then also the steering wheel. You can actually wrestle the steering wheel off, believe it or not. I used a puller on one of them, and then this one I actually yanked on it a bunch of different ways, and it just popped right off because it is a pressed fit on here. It's not like the 1500 guys where they got a nut and it just falls off. This one is actually pressed on here, so you're gonna have to use some force to get it off, or a 2-jaw puller. But check out that video on the steering wheel removal for that. Now what we need to do is, again, battery's disconnected, and I'm sure you disconnected it once you got to this point. You're going to take off the plastic here, so take off your kick plate here, and then this cover comes off. There's 3 screws, so you're going to have 3 Torx screws, 1, 2, and then 3. This one, there's no screw in there, so don't worry about that. This one, this one, this one, those 3 Torx, they come out. Once you get that off, the bottom cover pops down, this one pops up. And then we need to change the clock spring out, like I mentioned. So this assembly is going to be on here. And one word of caution with clock spring stuff, you guys, whether you get it used or new, don't spin them. You want to keep them in their orientation. If you look right here, there's an arrow pointing to this arrow. So you want to either tape it up if you're going to sell your clock spring afterwards, or try to tape it up in the centered position, because this can easily get out of whack. And if it starts going too many rotations the wrong way, or somebody even gets it 1 rotation out and then they install it on a vehicle, as soon as they go to make 1 full complete lock turn, it'll snap the ribbon cable in it, and then you're in for an expensive day. All right, so with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and show you guys how to get this clock spring off so we can get the new wheel on there. So there's gonna be some wire disconnections we're gonna have to do. So these 2 here, there's a push button there, push button there. These pop out. Okay, so the clock spring is gonna be this whole assembly. So you're gonna have to unclip your Christmas tree clip there also from the top. And then under here, you got another Christmas tree clip that is also attached to your clock spring. So we'll work this guy off as well with our tool. Same thing up here, we'll work this Christmas tree clip off as well. So we got a Torx here and a Torx on the bottom. Those 2 have to come out. And then as far as our turn stock, this is gonna be removed from here. So we're gonna squeeze down on this tab, take that off, and then there's this tab right here. So we're gonna squeeze this tab, and then this is gonna slide out like you see there. There's this little spring here that sits on top of that post, so just make sure that you put that back in if yours falls out like mine just did. Also, if you got this little block off plate for where your adjustable pedals would be, you'll want to pop this out here. There's a little tab here to pop it out, and you'll want to transfer that to your new clock spring. So with the T20 removed from there and the bottom, then the clock spring should start to come out. Then we got 2 more connectors. We got the blue one sitting right here, and you'll notice this blue one doesn't plug into anything. And then we've got this one here, gray one. Squeeze the tab and unplug it. All right, so here's the heated steering wheel clock spring. You'll notice it has a big plug right here. That one plug was not connected to anything, so that's why we got to change the clock spring to one that supports what we're trying to do here. I actually just put in another steering column that I had, just because this one's got a lot less miles on it. You know, the bearings are probably better in it, And I could have just swapped just this, but even the mechanism that was on the steering column was a little bit loose because this has almost 300,000 miles on it, 280 something. So I ended up taking this opportunity to switch the column. I could have just taken the clock spring off of the salvage one, but I ended up just taking everything with it. And like I said, less miles, less, you know, cycles on the actual shifter mechanism here too. So anyways, let's go ahead and plug this back in and then we can get to the fun stuff. Starting the reassembly process. So pretty much just plug in all your plugs. Maybe put some grease on the spring because you got to put it in that hole, and then try to put this in, or put it on your clock spring. Maybe the smarter idea while this is upside down, and click this in upside down that way. But anyways, let's go ahead and plug all this stuff in. I'm sure you guys can handle plugging in the plugs back into where they came from. Okay, I'm not sure if you'll see it, but I did manage to get the spring right in there and push this down, click that in place. Okay, everything is plugged into place. So we should be good to go here. So we'll put our column covers on and then we can put the steering wheel on. Okay, also if you're wondering what the part number is on my new clock spring, it last three are 693 Apple. So you can see here on this clock spring, again, if you're going for a heated steering wheel or you just want a steering wheel, it's got the buttons on the back, but this is gonna be the wire for the heated steering. So it's got an extra pigtail that comes out of the clock spring. So let's go ahead, we're gonna pass this all through. And again, this is going to be a similar process if you guys are doing a non-heated wheel, except you probably don't have to change out the clock spring for the non-heated wheel if you're just looking for the extra buttons. But check your part number and double check all of that. But I wanted to go for the full heated steering wheel. So anyways, this thing is keyed, so you can't really mess it up as far as, you know, putting this thing on crooked, so don't worry about that too much. You're gonna reinstall your bolts, get that in there. And then if you have this weight at the bottom, I don't know if it's a weight or a damper, either way, just make sure you thread that through. So, and then we'll get this plugged in right here. So this one's gonna plug into there. That's for all of our steering wheel buttons. This one goes to the horn. This one plugs in right here for a heated steering wheel. So this one will kind of loop around here. We'll kind of just bundle this guy up here and then plug it into this white connector there. And then these will go on the back of our airbag. Okay, so make sure your 13 is nice and tight. Kind of get all your cables organized if you move them around for any reason. You got your bag. We're gonna plug these in. So start with the bag ones. So the black one goes to the black. You're gonna hear a nice click. Yellow goes to yellow. And then make sure you get this one here. I'll show you guys the view from up here. So there you go. We got these two plugged in. We're gonna put our Christmas tree clip back in here, but that'll be the last thing we'll do. So let's plug this one for the horn in right here. So that one doesn't have a latch, but just make sure this one's fully seated. And then finally, last but not least, the Christmas tree clip on the back there, and that's going to be the last thing you're going to be able to get your fingers in. And then make sure your bag is centered up, and this is just going to click into place. And you're going to work this on both sides. There you go. So this is going to click into place. There you go. Double, triple check all your work, and there you go. So now let's go ahead. We're going to fire this up for the first time, reconnect the battery, and let's see if the steering wheel buttons work without doing anything on this Tradesman. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this to accessory. We don't need it in the run position. I'm gonna put the window down, keep the door closed, just so you don't have to listen to some dinging, but you guys have adequate light. So I'm gonna adjust this up a little bit. So let's go ahead. We got our stereo here, and let's see if the volume button does or doesn't work. We might have to let the thing boot up for a second. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, there we go. It is showing. So volume buttons right away are working. Let's see. I don't even know what this is trying to play right now. Redneck Oriental. So let's see if we hit the next button on this side. All right, so we've got some copyright free music on here so we can actually test it properly. This steering wheel feels so much different in my hands, even though it's obviously the same diameter and everything. It just feels, even where it wraps around here, it's a lot skinnier feeling through here. But our volume up and down works. Let's see, previous song previous song works. Let's see if next song works. Yep. So this is plug and play, you guys. You don't have to change any programming, just the steering wheel, and you're good to go. Let's see if the source button changes, so the middle button back here. Yeah, so we can switch between FM, satellite radio, all that stuff. Pretty cool. And then this one, I can't remember what this one is. Yeah, this one switches between AM, FM, the button in the middle back here. Let's see what that does over here. I'm not sure what it'll do on here. The source button won't work on CarPlay stuff. But yeah, at least we've got stereo buttons all working. That was huge for me. Part of the issue I had with the gripe on this, it might seem like I said, well, why can't you just reach right here? For whatever reason, this is a Uconnect 5, and when you're in CarPlay here, so I gotta physically go to the screen. So if I have my maps up, I had to physically go to the play screen, and I had to, like even here, even if I'm on the play screen, I couldn't just reach over and do this while you're driving. I had to like go navigate to the screen and hit next song. So it was making me absolutely mental. I love CarPlay and, you know, having everything up here, you know, your Waze, your traffic, all that stuff, but that was making me absolutely crazy having to go to the actual screen just to change the song every single time. Volume button, whatever, but trying to change the song and do that, and then this was doing this stupid thing. I don't know if there's a way to turn that off. Let me know. I couldn't find any settings for it, but that was my biggest gripe with this, and then not having the buttons here. Okay, well, there you have it, guys. So if you're just trying to get your steering wheel buttons working, it's a plug and play affair. But if you're trying to do the heated steering wheel, you're gonna need to change the module. And not only that, you are gonna have to get heated seats that have all the modules underneath, because to get the heated steering wheel, you're gonna need the heated seat module, which is underneath the driver's seat. So you're going to need some premium seats, the modules underneath, and I'm still actually going through that process with you guys. As you'll notice, my switch is not here right now. So once I get that all working and functioning, I'll show you guys the programming that I do or don't have to do to get everything working with the heated steering wheel and whatnot. But as of right now, I don't have that working just yet. So but I do want to show you guys, my primary focus was to get these buttons on the back so that it's a little bit nicer. Plus it's honestly just a nicer wheel. It doesn't matter whether it's just all leather or you get the limited one like this one. The upgraded steering wheel is definitely a welcome change. So anyways, you guys, if you guys are into 5th gen truck stuff or even 4th gen stuff, I've done so many mods to these trucks, so definitely check out the other videos on the channel. And if you guys want to see how I transform this truck from a tradesman to pretty much a limited at this point, and we're not done yet, definitely check out the other videos. We're about to put the 12-inch screen in there, do that conversion for you guys. We're going to go full keyless and all sorts of other mods. We put the upgraded headliner in there with the additional speakers, so we're going to be doing that with the factory amplifier, with the upgraded dash. The list goes on and on. So definitely hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up if this video helped you in any way. We'll catch you guys on the next video.